Dangal greetings everyone. Dangal greetings TVL2. So for today, this will be a pre-record video in order you to supplement para po for your preparation for your exam. So your last topic in of the first quarter in a physical science is all about the biological macromolecules, or also known as biomolecules, is came from the two words which means bio, which means we are referring to life. So we are referring to any organisms that supports life. So it includes we human, it includes our cats, our animals and other dogs, also kahit ano pa, as long as may buhay. It includes also the plants and even the bacteria. So they have life. In short, they are also made up of biological macromolecules. Pag sinabi natin macro, it's a big molecules na kailangan to support a life. So, yun lang mismo. But, in a broad category of a molecules, we can say that we can furtherly categorize it into two. We have the organic, so ayan yung nakikita natin, yung i-discuss natin later, organic molecules, and the other one is inorganic molecules. So, ano po yung pinagkaiba nila? So, later, we will answer that by in the long run. Okay po? So, it is an amazing topic kasi nga, we will talk about foods and your favorite foods that you always eat that gives you satisfaction pag gusto niyong kumain. And pa. So, by the way, here are the following terms that you need first to know before we proceed to the four na focus lang natin. We have the term biochemistry. So, biochemistry is a study of substance and chemical reaction involved in the life process. So, basically, it is a mix or hybrid of a chemistry. Kung baga, mixture siya with the biology and at the same time chemistry. Kaya biochemistry. But yung focus lang is chemicals that is found in our in life forms. Next, we have biomolecules. So, ito nga kanina, sabi ko sa inyo that biomolecules containing molecules that are essential to life. These biomolecules are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. So, dyan, in-specify lang natin, sabi natin, organic. Pero yung iba, later, i-discuss din natin si inorganic ng pahapyaw lang. Okay po? So, we have the term monomer. From the word itself, mono, ibig sabihin, one. A small molecule joins with other similar molecules to make a polymer. Kung baga, in short, siya yung building blocks or pinanggalingan ng mga malalaking molecules. Kaya monomer, ibig sabihin, one. We have also polymer, ibig sabihin connected dito. Polymer is obviously a large organic molecules consisting of small repeating unit called monomers. Ibig sabihin, pag pinagsama-sama natin si monomer, we could form a polymer. Yan lang po. Next, we have the term elements, the simplest form of substance found in the body such as carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Yes po. So, sabi nga natin sa previous topic natin, an atom has its distinct elements. Kung baga, example, for hydrogen. So, si hydrogen, meron siyang atom na isang proton na it contains one proton often with one neutron and one electron. So, generally, lahat yan ng mga elements na yan is makikita sa katawan natin and basically made up of atom. Diba? In-scale up ko na sa inyo kung sinong pinakamaliit, sinong pinakamalaki. Sunod-sunod lang yan. So, sabi natin si particle pinakamaliit, pangalawa si atom, pangatlo si molecule. So, si atom, kasama niya pala si element. Kung baga, si atom, we can also categorize twin niya si element. So, next molecule, then we have the cell. So on and so forth. Paano inaaral niya na sa biology. Next, we have, ayan, term monomer. So, ito nga kanina, sabi natin, monomer. So, ang tawag sa isa lang, mono, to form a polymer. So, makikita natin yung structure niyan later on. Next, we have the term compound. Compound is made up of two more elements that chemically join together. So, compound po yung pinaka-general na tawag natin doon. So, example, tubig or H2O or also known as dihydrogen monoxide. So, pinagsama lang siya ng dalawang atom ng hydrogen tsaka isang atom ng oxygen. So, we can call it as a compound. But here, sabi ko nga sa inyo, broad pa yung category na compound. We can say that is an ionic compound or could be a molecular compound. Depende kung anong types of bond yung makikita sa kanila. Pag ionic, yung nagbabond, tawag sa kanya na compound is ionic compound. So, example dyan is sodium chloride. While molecular compound, example natin, water. So, water is a molecular compound in a way that all of the elements found in a compound is made up of two nonmetal. So, basically, they are molecular compound joined by covalent bond. Okay po? Next, we have the two terms. Itong sabi ko kanina na i-discuss natin. We have the organic and inorganic molecule. So, ito lang yung focus natin mamaya, si organic molecule. Pero, syempre, at least dapat aware din kayo with the presence of inorganic molecules. So, first, we have organic molecules, molecules that has carbon backbone with some hydrogen thrown to forget a good measure. Tatandaan po to ha. Pag may carbon and hydrogen sa chemical formula na magkakasama sila, carbon with hydrogen, dapat with ha, dalawa, we can consider that substance as organic. Ulit po, pag may carbon and hydrogen, we can consider as organic molecule. So, it includes here in the table, we have our carbohydrates, the lipids, the proteins, and the nucleic acid. Next, a category under a molecule, we have inorganic, composed of other elements, either be hydrogen or carbon. But if they have both, they are organic. Ibig sabihin, pag tinignan natin yung chemical formula nila is dapat hindi pwedeng magkasama si carbon and hydrogen. Dapat isa lang yung present sa kanilang dalawa. So example, water, acid, bases, salt, and carbon dioxide. So bakit inorganic si water? Sabi nga natin, water is made up of two hydrogen and one oxygen. So yung present lang between the oxygen and hydrogen is the hydrogen, which means that isa lang yung present. So kaya consider siya as inorganic along with also with carbon dioxide, so CO2. So yung present lang is carbon. So automatically inorganic siya. Tatandaan natin, para mas mabilis tandaan, is pag inorganic, dapat isa lang yung present sa chemical formula, either be a carbon or it could be a hydrogen. While for organic, dapat present po yung dalawang element, carbon and hydrogen. Okay po? So next tayo. We have the term calorie. So calorie is the unit of heat of energy that comes from variety of source such as foods. So, kung baga, kahit titignan nyo man, or pag tinignan nyo yung mga kinakain natin, such as the noodles, ano pa ba, yung mga dilata, so, mga foods na binibili natin sa tindahan, they have this dietary, or yung mismong nasa likod, nakikita yung mga calories. Pag sinabi natin kasi calorie, it is a unit na ginagamit natin kung ilang energy yung pwede nating ma-consume pag kinain natin yung foods na yun. So, originally, nagmamatter din siya kung masyadong madami or unti lang. So, basta tatandaan, unit lagi of energy is a calorie, expressed as calorie or kcal or kilocalorie. Often, we use kilocalories. So, kung nakikita niyo dito sa picture class, so we have the vegetables. So, ayan yung calorie often ng mga vegetables, around 1,000 calories lang. So, kung napapansin nyo, that mga burgers, chocolates, oils, and butter, often they occupy the higher calories. Kasi kaya nga, pag kumain tayo ng sobrang dami ng mga foods na yung kagaya ng chocolates and oily base ng mga foods, we consume or mabilis po tayong tumaba. So, kasi nga, they exert more amount of calories in our body. So, yun lang siya. Okay? Next, we have This one is an illustration how biomolecules occupy a percentage that occupies human body. So, kumbaga yung focus lang natin dito is sa tao lang muna. Kasi nga, tayo lang naman pinag-uusapan dito. Pwede naman sa pusa, kasi hindi naman tayo pusa. So, yung focus lang natin is for human. So, sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina, we humans are made up of organic and inorganic uh, compounds, molecules. So, unahin natin, organic molecules. We have the four. So, the four, we have this protein. Ayan. We have the fats, or also known as lipids. We have, which is 16%, similar with protein. We have the carbohydrates, which consumes only 1% in our body. And the nucleic acid is not here because nucleic acid is found everywhere in our body. And we have also this inorganic compound such as the minerals. Yes, yung minerals na tinutukoy ko dito, yung mga vitamins na nakukuha natin, yung mga vitamin, yung K, with vitamin B, vitamin A, so on. Diyan minerals yung lagi. Next, we have also the water. Ayan, water po. Water is an inorganic molecules which occupies most of the percentage in our body. Ibig sabihin, tubig, yung pinakamaraming molecules yung makikita natin sa katawan natin. So, which is totoo nga naman. Kasi nga, we drink or we consume a lot of water. Not hindi lang basta-basta na tubig. Minsan, we also get water by means of fruits. Di ba may water-based naman yung mga fruits natin. Also yung mga sabaw. So, basically counted dyan lahat. So, that's why water occupies everything. Kung wala tayong tubig sa katawan, titignan natin itsura natin lantang-lanta. Tignan. Kasi nga, yung katawan natin is made up of water. 62% po talaga. Okay. So, let's have a quick highlight of the following elements that is necessary found in our body. We have the carbon, the hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, calcium, minerals, and other trace elements. So, okay. Unahin muna natin yung dalawa sa pinaka-importante. We have the carbon and hydrogen. So, again po, carbon and hydrogen is necessary to identify whether if that molecule is a organic or inorganic. So, ulit nga po, organic pag si carbon and hydrogen is present sa chemical formula ng sabay. Pag yung present lang is isa sa kanila, either si carbon or si hydrogen, tinatawag natin inorganic. Okay, so let's start with carbon. Carbon is made up of 18% of mass of the human body, so medyo malaki-laki siya. Helps in the cellular respiration, by which body release energy stored in glucose, main components of organic compounds. So, main component, siya talaga yung pinaka-center lagi. Pag tinignan natin siya sa chemical bonding, siya yung pinaka-center atom most of the time. Next we have hydrogen. Hydrogen accounts for 10% of mass of human body. So 10% yung hydrogen sa katawan natin. Essential for energy production. Hydrogen ion can be used as proton pump to produce ATP that regulates numerous reaction. So, normally, hydrogen ion is important for production of ATP. Pag sinabi po natin ATP, it is a form of energy that is essential in intercell sa buong cellular processes sa katawan natin. Next, we have oxygen, the most abundant element in the body and made up of 61 to 65% of mass of human body used for cellular respiration. Yes, we can see that obviously. So, kung wala konti lang yung oxygen natin, alam natin nahihingal tayo, tama? So, that's why we need to get enough oxygen lagi. Next, we have nitrogen. Nitrogen approximately made up of 3% of mass of human body. Key elements for protein, nucleic acid, and other organic. So, this nitrogen, even though 3% lang siya, obviously, katulong din siya for the interprocess. Next, we have the phosphorus. So, medyo maliit na. We have the 1.2 and 1.5% of the human body, important for bone structure. Yes, so that's why nga yung mga gatas na for sa mga medyo may edad na umiinom is rich in phosphorus kasi good siya for structure of the bones, primary energy molecules in the body, and major components of nucleic acid. Next, we have sulfur, about a 0.20% or 0.25 a mass of human body. So, sobrang unti niya na. Kung baga, unting-unti na lang talaga siya. Hindi siya ganun ka sobrang importante unlike with others. Pero importante pa rin siya. Important for components of amino acid and proteins allow for cell to use oxygen. So, kung baga partner sila ni oxygen to have a greater function to every cell in our body. Next, we have calcium. So, kung nakikita, accounts of 1.5 human body weights and skeletal rigidity and strength of bone and teeth, important for muscle function. Yes, si calcium is we can mostly found it in our teeth, sa nails natin, sa toenails, and even sa fingernails natin, and also in our bone. So, kasi nga, they are helpful for the rigidity of our structure and also for the intermuscle function. So, probably it helps for the entire sending a message sa kumbaga yung mismong process ng sending a message ng mga muscles natin sa isa't isa. Next, we have the minerals. So, minerals are the elements found in little amount of organism, which includes silicon, chlorine, manganese, cobalt, copper, and zinc. Yes po, sa katawan natin, normally, we have these minerals na sobrang unti lang. Pero, yun nga, kahit unti lang sila, they also necessary in some other functions. Kung baga, parang mga katulong or kung baga secondary elements na kailangan para sa katawan natin kahit unti lang sila. And last, we have the trace elements. Few elements such as iron and iodine. So, itong dalawang elements na to, they are trace. They are supposedly sobrang unti lang sa katawan natin. So, kung napapansin nyo naman, iron. This one in the picture, you can see a girl na parang walang kulay or walang walang kabuhay-buhay. Kasi nga, due to lack of iron sa katawan natin. So, ibig sabihin, even though trace element siya, it contributes to the interprocess of our body at the same time, the beautification natin. Ibig sabihin, pag madami kang red blood cell, si red blood cell kasi is binubuo ng iron na nagbibigay ng kulay. That's why pag madami kang iron sa katawan or enough yung iron sa katawan natin, buhay na buhay ang itsura natin. So, yun po. Next, we have the iodine. So, iodine is often necessary din in a trace element. So, kung pwede kang kulangin or mawalan ka ng iodine, it could possibly result with this imbalance. It could be pwede tayo magkaroon ng goiter or madami pang cases. So, sabi ko nga sa general that even though unti lang sila, they contributes to the homeostasis or the balance of ang katawan natin. Okay po? Nasusundan pa rin po ba ako? Sige nga po. Thumbs up naman kung naintindihan po ako. Ayan. So, ngayon, we will proceed to the four major organic compound or organic molecules. Yes po. 4 lang na organic molecules yung i-discuss natin ngayon. So, we have the carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. Ito lang po, 4. Okay? So, let's start with carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is mas kilala siya bilang asukal. Yung pinakasimpleng tawag sa kanya, asukal. Carbs, carbohydrates. This one is its chemical structure. So, kung titingnan natin mabuti, sabihin natin nga, under siya as organic, kasi nga, may carbon and hydrogen siya sa structure. Ayan o. Carbon and hydrogen. So, automatically, organic siya agad kasi magkakasama yung dalawa. Okay. So, anong function ni carbohydrates? So, but first, what is carbo? Carbohydrates came from two words, carbo and hydrates, which means contains carbon. Yes. So, kaya nga siya yung pinakamalaking amount, hindi, second na amount sa katawan natin, along with hydrates, contains a molecule of a water. Pag pinagsama, hydrates of a carbon. So, anong pinaka-general na function ni carbohydrates? So, the important source of instant energy. Tatandaan yan ha. Pag carbohydrates, yung pinaka-main na function niya, provide instant or a short-term form of energy with the unit of 4 kilocalories per gram. So, kung baga, ito yung dahilan, that's why we need to eat rice every day. Kasi nga, we need to get an instant source of energy. So, pag nagugutom tayo, we need to get something na that is rich in carbohydrates. Kasi nga, yung katawan natin is naghahanap to supply the needs of our cell. So, para mabuhay tayo. So, yun po. Tandaan yung keyword, yung function niya, source of instant or short-term energy with a 4 kilocalories per gram. But, in order to form that macromolecules or macro compound, or pag sinabi natin macro large molecule, meron din siyang pinanggalingan or tinatawag nating building blocks. O kanina, it's almost similar with the concept of monomer and polymer. So, ibig sabihin yung polymer natin, si carbohydrates, and the monomer is the monosaccharides. So, ito nga siya. Monosaccharides, is ito po yung pag pinagsama-sama natin siya. As a general, we can form a carbohydrates. So, it is the structure contains carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Show. Tandaan niyo yan. Show. Yung mga elements na bumubuo sa kanya. So, here is the illustration. Ayan, yung isa lang, monosaccharides, yung tawag. Or mas kilala bilang simple sugar. Ayan, pag pinagsama-sama na natin yung mga monosaccharides, we can form a carbohydrates. Yes po. Meron tayong tatlong major categories of carbohydrates. We have the monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. So, pag sinabi natin monosaccharides, ibig sabihin one sugar or mas kilala natin bilang simple sugar. And pag sinabi naman natin ibig sabihin two sugars or pinagsama ng dalawang monosaccharides or double sugar. Next, we have also the polysaccharides, ibig sabihin many sugars or a long chain of sugar. So, in each type, meron tayong mga common na types or example of it. So, unahin muna natin sa simple sugar, si glucose. Glucose is the most simple sugar in nature. Siya yung pinakasimple sa lahat. Makukuha natin si glucose or found mostly in our blood. Yes po, or mas kilala siya si glucose as the most simple sugar, simplest sugar, or the blood sugar. Then we have the fructose. Fructose is a sugar mostly found in fruits at the same time with vegetables. We have galactose. Galactose is a type of sugar often found with milk. Then we have under disaccharides, we have the sucrose and lactose. So sucrose is a combination of two, glucose and fructose, and we have a lactose, a combination of glucose and galactose. So most of the time, sucrose, we can often found it in our table sugar or yung mismong asukal na ginagamit natin sa bahay, pantimpla sa kape. Yes po, that is a sucrose. And for lactose, ito naman yung makikikuha natin sa mga Yakult, kadalasan. Next, we have the polysaccharides, a long chain of sugar. So we have the starch, glycogen, and cellulose. So we will discuss it later, this major polysaccharides. So kung nakakita niyo sa picture, kanin is an example, or rice is an example of polysaccharides. Under po siya dito. Okay, so in order you to visualize, mono, isa lang. Pag pinagsama, di. Pag marami, or more than 2, polysaccharides. Next, ayan yung explanation natin kanina. So, ito po yung tatlo. nasabi ko nakasama sa polysaccharides. We have the starch, glycogen, and the cellulose. So starch is a chain of stored glucose in plants provide energy. So kadalasan kasi uh, is hindi natin enough fully nakakain or nako-consume ng buong katawan natin yung energy na kailangan natin. Kung baga may sobra in short. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga sobra na yun is kailangan din natin i-store sa katawan natin. So, for the case of plants, so saan nanggaling yung sugar ng plants? So, basically, nanggaling sa photosynthesis. Diba? Pag gumagawa ng sariling foods yung plants, they form a glucose. And yung sobrang glucose na yan is sinstored nila dire-diretso sa roots nila. And yung ginagamit nila sa buong process, mismo continuously yan. So, starch is the stored energy of a glucose or a stored energy glucose in the case of plants. Kadalasan sa roots po siya ng mga plants. Next, for human, for animals as a general, is glycogen. So, kung tayong mga tao, generally, kung sa plants merong stored, meron din sa tao. We have, tinatawag sa atin is glycogen. Kung baga, once we eat sobrang kanin or sobrang sweets or mga sobrang sa kain ng chocolates or whatsoever, aside sa ubo, is masastore siya sa katawan natin in the form of glycogen. So, yung glycogen na yan is pwede natin siyang gamitin pag kailangan na kung sakaling hindi na tayo makakain ng enough na carbohydrates pag in a right time. So, that time, glycogen or the stored glucose is often nasa-stored siya sa liver natin at the same time with the muscle. So, again, nasa-stored siya sa liver and muscle. For the case of starch, nasa-stored lang po siya for its roots. Okay po? Next, we have also the cellulose. Cellulose is often found with plants. So, sa plants pa rin po siya. So, it is a type of sugar na kung saan makikita siya sa mga dahon or sa mga stem ng plants. So, the function of it is to provide protection. At the same time, necessary siya for color mismo ng plants. So, the cellulose is also mas kilala bilang the most abundant carbohydrates in nature. So, kasi nga, makikita natin siya everywhere in the form of leaves, the stem, so and so on and so forth. Okay po? Next, we have its structure. So, kung nakikita natin, we have the comparison of the cellulose, the starch, and the glycogen. So, ayan. So, yung pinaka-subunit niya is a beta-glucose for the cellulose. Yung tawag sa pinaka-simpleng glucose sa kanya. So, we have also the, under the starch, we have the alpha-glucose. Almost similar with a glycogen. Kasi nga sa plants lang siya, tapos ito sa tao. Then, we have the bonds. So, the bonds is varies kung ilan yung nagbabond together. Then, we have the diagram. Kung makikita natin, for the cellulose, a chain of this almost similar. For the case of its shape, medyo nagkakaiba lang ng branching. And for the shape, so as you can see, for the cellulose, one line lang siya. For the starch, it could be this one, or it could be this one, or for glycogen, very complex siya. Tignan. Okay. So, next we have this following foods. So, sabi nga natin, they provide instant source of energy. Pero, saan natin siya nakukuha? Nakukuha nga natin siya from the various foods. So, kung nakikita niyo sa picture, those are the foods that is a more very abundant see carbohydrates. So, example natin here, we have the cellulose. We have also here the cereals rather. So, mga cereals, mga beans, we have the potatoes, we have the pastas, and rice, and madami pa po. So, again, pwede din siya makuha sa other forms of sweet na mga pagkain. We are done with carbohydrates. Next, we have lipids. So, lipids is another type of macromolecules, but as compared with carbohydrates, lipids is insoluble with water. Hindi siya basta-basta natutunaw sa tubig. Okay, Lipids major function are the following. So madaming function po sa lipids sa katawan natin. We have the long-term source of energy in the form of fats with a 9 kilocalorie per gram. So kung natatandaan nyo, kung i-compare natin siya kay carbohydrates, mas matagal siya. And as you can see, the energy in the form of calories, mas mataas siya ng doble. Diba si carbohydrates is 4 kilocalories per gram lang. Pero si lipids or si fats is twice, more than twice talaga. So, ibig sabihin, reliable siya for to gain fats or to gain body mass sa atin. Provide insulation of the environment for plants and for the animals. So yes po, pwede siyang mag-provide as a source of a protection from the harsh environment. So kung nakikita niyo dito sa picture, this one is a harp seal. So harp seal is one of the organism na kadalasan makikita natin sa malalamig na lugar. They use their fats, ayan, yung tinatawag natin nilang fats na blubber. So, yung blubber na yan, yung ginagamit nila as a source of insulation to protect from the extreme coldness sa environment itself. Even tayong mga tao, tayong mga tao, we also that have function of lipids. Kung baga, pag naiinitan tayo, for our body, nag-react to have a sweat. So, nagpapawis tayo to release mismo for protection. And also, pag sobrang lamig naman, yung katawan natin release heat in order to lessen the coldness. So, ganun siya, yung function niya. Kasi nga, yung katawan natin is made up of lipids din. Next, made up of cell membrane or phospholipids bilayer. Lipids is, makikita siya sa structure mismo ng cell natin. So, sa cell natin, or the basic unit of our life, yung pinaka-boundary ng cell natin is makikita yung ganitong structure. Ito po. So, para siyang barrier. Siya yung naghiwalay from inside the cell and outside the cell, which is made up of lipids, or mas kilala sa tinatawag nating phospholipid bilayer. From the word itself, phospho, lipid bilayer, ibig sabihin, dalawang layer siya ng lipids. So as you can see, the two layers is arranged ng kabaliktaran. So unang layer is made up of two. Kumbaga we have the hydrophilic head, or mas kilala nating hydrophilic or water-loving. Kumbaga, the water can enter that, while the other tail, or yung mismong tail niya, is hydrophobic, or takot siya for the water. That's the reason why once we mix oil in the water is hindi siya literally naghahalo, because of the characteristic of the lipid as a general as hydrophobic. So, tatandaan yan ha. Okay. Okay na po. Next, we have the building blocks of a lipid. So, almost similar with carbohydrates, meron din siyang pinanggalingan. In order to form that large molecules or macromolecules, meron din siyang building blocks, or tinatawag nating fatty acid and glycerol. Yes po, dalawa po yung building blocks niya. Again, they are fatty acid and glycerol. So, almost similar with the components of carbohydrates, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So, chow din siya. Ang pinagkaiba lang nila is that it provides more energy mismo rather than carbohydrates. So, ang characteristic niya nga lang is hydrophobic. Okay, so ayan po yung illustration natin kanina. Kung nakikita na yung oil and tubig is hindi nagsasama. So, ayan. Yung isa lang, fatty acid and glycerol. Then, to form a lipid. So, ayun po. Ayan. So, we have also the major types of lipids. We have the fats and oil, or also known as glycerides, or a 3 fatty acid plus glycerol serve as a fuel in our body. Yes, often, yan yung makikita natin sa mga katawan natin. The fats and oil or glyceride, ibig sabihin, pag nakikita natin yung medyo chubby nakakilala natin. So, they are rich in fats and oil. So, they are rich in triglycerides. Next, we have the waxes. Waxes application of pharmaceutical cosmetics and other industries. So, waxes is, we can use it for our sa mismong other cosmetics, sa mga lipstick, sa mga makeup. Yes po, mas kadalasan yung mga waxes na yan. Next, we have the steroid. So, steroid is mas kilala siyang or mas kilala siya bilang in a common term as instant source of energy or hiram na lakas. So, steroid is forbidden for the case of athletes. Yes, bawal sila mag-inject ng steroids in a way na, yun nga, sabi nga natin, instant energy. So, ibig sabihin, masyadong not fair for them na gumamit niyan. Kasi nga, ang madali siya, kumbaga, advantage siya in a way na magagamit natin yung instant source of energy. Pero, ang kabaliktaran or downfall naman yan is, mafo-force yung buong katawan natin na i-consume ng buong buo yung mga energy na nakastored sa atin. So, very dangerous siya in that way. Pero, steroids is also good in a way na steroid helps for treatment of various diseases. So, may mga pamamaga sa katawan natin. They are used as one of the ingredients to treat that. Next, we have also the phospholipids. Ito nga yung sabi natin kanina, yung makikita sa plants. Ayan. But, we have also types of fatty acid, or it could be categorized into two. It could be a saturated or unsaturated. So, pag sinabi natin saturated, yung pinakasimpleng dapat yung tandaan, this one is a bad cholesterol. Ulit po, this one is a bad cholesterol. For unsaturated, lowers blood cholesterol found in foods like avocado. So, ibig sabihin, pag unsaturated, there are the good one. Saturated foods or saturated fats are found often with a meat. So, that's why you cannot eat so much meat. Pero, yes, allowed kayong kumain. Pero pag sobra-sobra na, hindi na siya maganda. It can cause a blockage in our blood. It's also mga arteries or mga blood vessels natin. So, that's why less than dapat or enough lang yung kinakain natin. Then, we have unsaturated. So, often, they are suggested by our doctors to use or to eat this unsaturated food such as this avocado. Yes po, si avocado yung pinaka-natural na source ng unsaturated. So, not just an avocado lang. So, madami pa po. That's why, di ba kasama sa diet lagi yung mga avocado ng mga medyo rich nating mga kababayan. O, ayan. So, eto siya. Saturated siya or bad cholesterol kasi nga, kung titignan natin sa structure, all of the structure is linear. One bond lang. Unsaturated siya, kung titignan natin sa structure, meron tayong double bond of carbon. Because of that, yung unsaturated is good one. Because of the double bond carbon. Okay? Next tayo. So, meron din tayong mga common types of unsaturated or sabi natin mga good cholesterol. We have the palmitic acid, the oleic acid, we have the linoleic acid, trans fat, and we have also the cis fat and omega-3 fatty acid. So, sila yung mga common na mga oils or fats na dapat suggested na gamitin natin. Even in our cooking, pag nagluluto dapat tayo, yung mga oils kasi na ginagamit natin, syempre, doon tayo sa mura. Pero yun nga, bad din yung effect sa katawan natin. Pero kung medyo nakakaluwag-luwag, we can buy more healthy oils. So, medyo may kamahalan lang talaga siya. Pero, kung gusto natin healthyhan, kunwari, so we can buy that even though it's a bit expensive from our normal budget. So, next, first we have the palmitic acid, a hexagon acid, monosaturated constituent of glycerols and fatty acid present on tissues can found in a liver. So, sa body pa rin natin siya. So, oleic acid, so dito lang tayo sa mga common. Ito na lang. Ayan. Omega-3 fatty acid. Si omega-3 fatty acid, along with omega-6 fatty acid, sila yung mga special types of good fats or oil na dapat natin i-consume, often they are consumed or nakukuha natin siya sa mga fish tuna, yung parang kung tandaan nyo man dati, or mga century tuna, yung mga fresh mismo, sa mga tunas, yung mga tawag dito, yung yung in-advertise ni Derek Ramsey, yes po, often they are rich in omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acid. So, good sila sa katawan natin. Often kasi, our body can produce, but some is very rare. That's why we need to consume that. So, here are the following foods that is rich in lipids. So, mga medyo fatty acids. So, mga meat and fish. Yes, we have also cheese. Yes, yung cheese, goods and fits, ano din siya, sa fats. We have a butter. Yes po. We have the avocado, a good one. We have the nuts and seeds, and even the chocolate. Yes po. Si chocolate kasi, mix siya. Kadalasan it's made up of cocoa or a combination also with sweetened sugar. So, pero mas rich siya with fats. Next, we have the third macromolecules, which is a protein. So, kung nakikita niyo sa picture, itlog, so ibig sabihin, egg is the major source or one of the major source of protein in our body. So, ano naman si protein? Protein, almost just like other two types, carbohydrates and lipids, they are also made up of amino acid or building blocks na tinatawag nating amino acid. So, review natin, si carbohydrates, meron siyang monosaccharides, si lipids, meron siyang si glycerol and fatty acid, si protein naman, meron naman siyang si amino acid. This one is the building blocks. So, ibig sabihin, in order to form a protein, a bulk of protein, we need an amino acid. So, unlike with other, or with carbohydrates and lipids, the structure of protein is a combination of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. So, kung napapansin nyo, meron tayong dagdag na nitrogen. So, yun lang po, yung pattern natin. So, pag naglagay tayo ng keyword, chon. Chon na, sunod-sunod lang. So, the characteristic often called the building blocks of life, especially of 20 amino acid in the living organism. So, ang tatandaan natin, si protein po, yung pinaka-major na function niya, kaya nga siya tinatawag na building blocks of life, kasi nga, protein is the major source or major molecules na bumubuo in every cell in our body. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng cell sa katawan natin is may protein. Siya yung nagbibigay ng shape, siya yung nagbibigay ng cell signaling, and everything. So, ganun siya ka multitasking. And take note class, protein is the most diverse macromolecules sa katawan natin. Ulit po, protein is the most diverse form of macromolecules in our body. But this macromolecules, protein, is further subdivided into various ways. Pwede natin siya i-categorize based on essentiality, or it could be based on its shape, and so on and so forth. So, sobrang vague or mas malawak yung category niya. Pero, ifo-focus na natin yung mga importante. So, ito po kanina, amino acid, yung isa lang. Dahil pag pinagsama mga amino acid, we can form a protein. Yan. So, the function of protein, so dagdagan natin, helps in the muscle building and support structure. Yes. So, tama po yan. Kasi nga, pag walang protein, we cannot build muscle itself. That's why sa mga nag-gym, they are suggested to eat foods that is rich in protein. So, part sa diet nila, yung mga itlog, to gain that for their building muscle. Next, we have working on immune system. Yes po. So, si protein is also good for our immune system. To inform everyone, immune system is one of the organ systems sa katawan natin na kung saan tumutulong to help to live our body become healthy. Kasi nga, kung wala tayong immune system, we are sakitin tayo. Kung baga, ang function ni immune system natin is to protect us from bad or mga pathogens or mga bad bacteria or bad organism na pumapasok sa katawan natin. So, ibig sabihin, kung walang protein, walang katulong para gumawa ng immune system natin. Next, we have acts as an enzyme. So, pag sinabi nating enzyme, this one is any substance na nagpapabilis ng any process. Or pag sinabi nating as a general, enzyme is a catalyst. So, yung pinaka-general term talaga, catalyst is any substance that speed up any processes or any process. Yun nga po. So, sa katawan natin, yung tawag sa catalyst is enzyme. Ibig sabihin, broad or general term, catalyst. Pag sa biological application of catalyst, yung tawag sa kanya is enzyme. So, one of the enzyme na kilala natin is yung mga maltase, ayan, yung mga maltase, lipase, sila yung mga enzyme na katulong in order to break the foods that we intake para fully ma-consume ng mga cells natin yung mga nutrients na kailangan. Then we have also cell signaling and cell transport. Yes po, kailangan din siya from sending message from one cell to another. Also, release calories if necessary for 4 kilocalorie per kilogram. So, kung ikukumpara natin siya, class, sa nakaraang dalawang biomolecules, we have the carbohydrates and lipids, almost similar siya with energy na nare-release ni carbohydrates. 4 kilocalories. Pero, secondary source of energy na lang siya. Ibig sabihin, huli. Hindi siya yung pinaka-major source. So, tatanungin natin, ano yung pinaka-major source? So, ibig sabihin, ang tatandaan natin lagi, ang major source is the carbohydrates. Yes po. Carbohydrates, kasunod natin si lipids, then kasunod natin si protein. Sunod-sunod yung tatlo na yan. Carbohydrates muna, lipids agad, tapos protein pag hindi kinakailangan. Pero, to be specific, pag example, kanin, pag kumain tayo, carbs siya. Pag hindi na tayo naubusan tayo, bigla tayong nagutom, pag hindi na tayo available yung kanin, kailangan nang gamitin yung mga stored energy sa katawan natin or yung mga glycogen in the form of glucose pa rin. So, what if naubos na yung glucose or yung mga glycogen sa katawan natin? So, tendency, doon napapasok agad si lipids. Doon napapasok yung mga, i-break down yung mga taba-taba sa katawan natin in order to provide an energy. So, once na maubos na yung energy natin, kung baga nagkaroon na tayo ng starvation or kung baga naggutuman tayo ng isang taon, so the tendency is that no choice yung katawan natin is to break down the remaining protein sa katawan natin. So, yun po. Kaya secondary lang siya. Carbohydrates lagi, lipids, then protein. Okay, so this one is the structure of the protein. So, kung napapansin natin, this one is the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and the nitrogen. Partnered with alkyl group. Yes po, alkyl group. So, pag nag-function siya. Ayan. So, types according to essentiality. So, si protein natin, pwede natin siyang masabi na essential or hindi. So, meron tayong essential. We have also non-essential and semi-essential. So, pag sinabi natin essential, cannot produced by our body and get from the foods that we intake. So, sila yung mga amino acid na nakukuha natin sa kinakain natin kasi nga hindi kayang i-produce ng katawan natin. So, those are the 9 amino acid. We have the valine, lysine, isoleucine, threonine, methionine, lysine, phenylalanine, tryptophan, and histidine. So, as long as ang tatandaan nyo lang dito, essential, hindi siya kayang i-produce ng katawan natin. So, our body needs to eat in order to get that amino acid. Next, we have non-essential. Ibig sabihin, kabaliktaran siya. Kayang-kaya na siyang i-produce ng katawan natin. Pero, syempre, hindi naman siya basta-basta na-produce pag walang raw material. Syempre, yung mga raw material na yun is nanggaling pa rin sa kinakain natin. Kung baga, kaya lang siyang i-synthesize sa buong katawan natin. It includes the alanine, asparagine, aspartic acid, glutamic acid, and serine. So, meron din tayong tinatawag na conditional or also known as semi-essential. Pwede silang ma-produce sa katawan natin or pwede siyang i-synthesize sa katawan natin and we can also get from the foods that we intake. Kung baga, conditional siya kasi nga case-to-case base in a way na kayang i-produce ng katawan natin, pero hindi siya ganun ka-enough. So that's why our body needs, that's why we need to eat that to gain, to get that amino acid. So it includes the arginine, cysteine, glutamic acid, glycine, proline, and tyrosine. So sila po yan. Okay, nasusundan pa rin po ba ako, class? Medyo mahaba-haba na. Ayan. So, we can also categorize protein based on its size. It could be a fibrous or it could be a globular. Pag sinabi natin fibrous, coiled chain of folded chain of amino acid bonded together a parallel line. So, yung shape lang, by size, yung protein is coiled together, coiled by a tightly wounded, relatively soluble in water. So, normally, may mga protein kasi tayo na sobrang complex, almost similar to this. So, that complex carbohydrates also contributes in various function. Pwede siyang maging very soluble sa water. Pag nag-soluble kasi sa water, so it helps in everything sa buong process ng katawan natin. So, meron tayong mga common na mga protein na actually protein pala siya na dapat niyong alam. We have the keratin. Yes po. Si keratin is a structural protein found in our hair and skin and nail. Yes, ibig sabihin, yung sa buhok natin, sa kuko natin, yung keratin is a protein. Yes po. So, nagpapaganda. Kaya nga, pag nagsha-shampoo kayo, yung iba, gumagamit ng keratin na shampoo base. Kasi nga, maganda siya and healthy. Next, we have the fibrous or silk protein. So, ito na nga, kanina yung sabi natin. Then, we have the collagen. O, ayan. So, ito, sikat na sikat to ngayon sa market because collagen is good for your internal body and for your physical or outside yung body. Kasi nga, collagen is a essential amino acid for your youth look. Kung we are bata pa, we are rich in collagen. Kaya po siyang isynthesize ng buong katawan natin. Pero, as we get older, habang tumatanda tayo, paunti ng paunti, or nagdi-decline yung collagen sa katawan natin. That's why, yan yung reason, that's why nagkakaroon tayo ng pangungulubot sa katawan natin kasi nga, lack of collagen. That's why, tayo, mga tao, we purchase a lot of beauty products and beauty, yung mga iniinom para masabi natin ma-maintain yung youthful na look natin. Pero actually, class, collagen's major function is antioxidant. Kumbaga, it helps for cleaning yung mga toxic materials sa katawan natin. Kumbaga, second effect niya na lang yung pagbo-bloom or yung pagpuputi natin. Next, we have the enzyme. So, ito nga po. So, catalyst reaction either speed up the reaction, lowers needed energy, and to take place or bind substance in specific partners. So enzymes everywhere in our body, we are made up of enzyme. They are the helpers for the interprocess of our body. Okay po? So, ito naman yung mga major source of protein. So, we have the fish. So, similar kanina kay lipids, pero dalawa yung major source niya. Pwede siya maging fish, or it could be a protein, or it could be a lipids. So, take note, class, ha, hindi porket yung isang pagkain is rich in carbohydrates lang pwedeng makita sa kanya. Pwede pong makita yung apat or yung tatlo or yung mga apat na biomolecules na tinutukoy natin. Baga, ang na-highlight lang dito is that kung saan yung may pinakamataas na source na present sa kanya, it could be mas mataas yung percent sa kanya ng lipids or mataas ba kanya yung percent ng protein, and so on and so forth. So, for the case of protein, we have the fish as a major source. We have the egg. So, kaya kanina egg yung nilagay natin sa PowerPoint. The chicken. We have the nuts, the almonds. We have the lentils, oats, milk, yogurt, broccolis, and we have the seed. So, yan po. Yung mga iilan pa. Next, and for the last, biomolecules or organic molecules, we have the nucleic acid. So, unlike po sa tatlo, si protein, lipids, and carbohydrates, si nucleic acid is very diverse. Nucleic acid is, we get it everywhere in any form of foods. Kumbaga, yung mismong DNA nila is kinakain natin. But it doesn't mean na mag-evolve tayo or magre-revolve tayo. Kung ba kumain tayo ng kalabasa, magiging kalabasa tayo, hindi po ganon. Pero, syempre, we eat their DNA sa katawan natin. So, nucleic acid. Nucleic acid is the reason why we varies in our look. Siya yung pinaka-unique sa apat kasi nga siya yung may pinaka-kakaibang contribution sa aspect nating tao, sa about organism. Nucleic acid is made up or its major function is involved for coding of traits. So yun nga po yung reason sabi natin. That's why magkakaiba po tayo ng itsurang mga tao, magkakaiba yung itsura ng mga pusa, mga aso, and whatsoever. Iba-iba yung itsura natin because of the nucleic acid manufacturing of protein. Yes po, pwede din siyang katulong for the help or production of protein. So, the building blocks of protein is tinatawag nating nucleotides. So, kanina, yung iba, carbohydrates, we have the monosaccharides. For the lipids, we have the glycerol and glycerol and fatty acid. For protein, we have the amino acid. And for nucleic acid, we have the nucleotides. So, kung titignan naman natin yung structure niya, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus, may nadagdagan po na tayo ng isa, ng letter P. Ibig sabihin, phosphorus. Para mabilis yung tandaan yung mga components, we can use the mnemonics CHO, CHO for carbohydrates, another CHO for lipids, and CHO for N for the protein, and CHO and P for nucleic acid. O para mas madali, pwede nyo siyang kantahin. It could be CHO, CHO, CHON, CHOMP. So, pwede po. CHO, CHO, CHON, CHOMP. So, para mabilis nyong tandaan. As long as alam nyo yung pagkakasunod-sunod. Okay po? So, here is the nucleic acid, nucleotides that makes up the entire nucleic acid. So, the nucleic acid is special. Kasi nga, nucleic acid is further made up or composed of 3 structures. We have the 5-carbon sugar, pentose. So, sugar din siya. So, it's a carbohydrates. Kaya nga, hybrid siya, sabi ko sa inyo. Super sa tatlo. Then, we have the phosphate group. So, phosphate group is a presence of phosphorus and a ring shape base of nitrogen or nitrogenous bases. So, kung tatandaan nyo sa junior high school, ito yung mga tinuturo sa inyo, probably grade 9 or grade 10. So, tatandaan nyo ha, si nucleic acid may tatlong components. We have the 5-carbon sugar, the phosphate group, and the ring shape. So, ito po yung sugar niya. And both the two types later ni nucleic acid is magkakaiba yung tawag sa sugar nila. We have the ribose, and we have also the deoxyribose. Okay, so itong sinasabi ko na dalawang types ni nucleic acid. Si DNA, or yung pinakabuong pangalan niya, which is deoxyribonucleic acid, and we have the RNA, or mas kilala natin yung ribonucleic acid. DNA contains our genetic information. Yes po, it is a type kung saan the reason bakit magkakaiba nga yung itsura natin. And the sugar is deoxyribose. And the nitrogenous bases, we have the guanine, adenine, cytosine, thymine, or paired as guanine, cytosine, and adenine paired with thymine. So, yung base pairing na yan is importante siya for coding of our traits. Kung baga, in every structure in our bodies, magkakaiba yung code. Kung iba yung pagkaka-code o pagkakasunod-sunod ng code na yan, kung baga, ito yung code ng hulma ng ilong natin. Yung code, yung hulma ng pagkakabuo ng kuko natin. So, ganun siya. Sa every structure natin is magkakaiba ng code. Ganon siya kahirap or ganon ka-complex yung bawat organism. Magkakaiba ng coding. While we have the nucleic acid, or its major function is for protein synthesis. Kung baga, siya yung katulong that helps to produce protein sa katawan natin. Kasi we eat egg. But what happened after we eat egg? Diba? So, siya yung tumutulong in order to make it become more simple. Gawin siya amino acid, then i-absorb siya sa katawan natin. So, ganun siya. The sugar niya naman is ribose, then yung nitrogenous base niya is kakaiba po. Napalitan po si thymine with uracil. Ayan, si uracil, yung pinalit sa kanya. Similar lang. Ang pinagkaiba niya lang, ang kapartner ni adenine is si uracil, hindi po si thymine. So, ito pa yung ibang pinagkaiba nila. So, si RNA, single strand lang, while si DNA is double-stranded. So, ito po yung sinasabi ko ng mga base pairing. It could be this pairing is the code for your feature, for your specific for your nose. It could be, or it could be this one is the code for your perfect hair, or it could be ganyan. Okay po? So, that's it. So, we already done discussing the biomolecules or biological molecules. So, as a review po, meron tayong 4 na organic biomolecules na discuss today. We have the carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. So, again, each 4 macromolecules is made up of building blocks. It's building blocks. For carbohydrates, we have the monosaccharides. For lipids, we have the fatty acid and glycerol. For protein, we have the amino acid, and for nucleic acid, we have the nucleotides. And for the function of carbohydrates, often short-term source of energy. For lipids, long-term source of energy. For protein, madami siyang function. Kadalasan for cell signaling and for cell shape. For nucleic acid, responsible for our identity. So, that's it. We are done already, and good luck everyone. So I hope you watch this video hanggang sa pinakahuli-hulihan so that ready po tayo sa incoming na exam. Wish you luck for exam class, and see you after for our last for the next quarter na po. Goodbye. Yun.